Can you picture a world without birds, or an ocean empty of fish? This could be our future. Ecologists say humans are causing a massive extinction, similar to the one that killed off the dinosaurs 65 million years ago. By some estimates, we're losing up to 150 species per day. What's the largest cause of this massive die-off of wildlife? Some experts say it's animal agriculture.
Concerned researchers of the loss of species agree that the primary cause of loss of species on our Earth that we're witnessing is due to overgrazing and habitat loss from livestock production on land and by overfishing, which I call fishing, in our oceans.
Wildlife have always been seen as a threat to domesticated animals. But now that animal agriculture is a $1 trillion global industry and occupies about 45% of the Earth's land and almost half of the land in the lower 48 states, the stakes are much higher. Wild animals are considered a major threat to Big Ag's profits. In the United States, an entire government agency is dedicated to killing wildlife to protect the meat industry. Formerly known as Animal Damage Control, this agency is now called Wildlife Services, and it's a division of the U.S. Department of Agriculture. Don't let the new name fool you. They aren't providing services to wildlife. When a rancher or farmer feels wild animals are threatening his herd or competing with them for food, he can call up Wildlife Services and have his problem taken care of. This rogue agency killed an average of 7,400 animals every day in 2014. In what many conservation groups have called the USDA's war on wildlife, since 2000 it has killed at least 2 million mammals, like bears, wolves, and otters, and 15 million birds, like golden and bald eagles. That's more animals than the human populations of Pennsylvania and Connecticut combined. Often operating illegally, Wildlife Services uses brutal traps, snares, poison, and aerial gunning to wipe out wildlife. And it kills so indiscriminately that it often poisons non-target animals, including family pets. This is Bella, a family's beloved dog who was killed by a Texas Wildlife Services trapper.
This is an agency that has completely run amok. They answer to no one. And it's been like that since its inception in 1931.
Those staggering numbers don't even include the hundreds of thousands of wild horses that the federal government has rounded up and removed from public lands since the 1970s. Thanks to efforts by another federal agency, the Bureau of Land Management, wild horses and burros have been wiped out of 40% of their original habitat, all to make room for the meat industry. Today, 8 times more federal, that is publicly owned, land is authorized for livestock grazing than for wild horses. Who pays for all this? You and I do. U.S. taxpayers fund what could be the world's largest government-orchestrated wildlife extermination program. Ranchers and farmers don't pay a dime, but they are the ones who benefit. According to the Center for Biological Diversity, 175 species that live on U.S. federal lands are threatened by ranching. Wild animals aren't just directly killed by ranchers and the government. They're also threatened by pollution and habitat loss from factory farms, as well as climate change, for which the animal agriculture industry is largely responsible. There's no question that the secretive, rogue government agencies like Wildlife Services that are in bed with the meat industry should be shut down. But we consumers have a role to play in this problem too. The average American consumes about 270 pounds of meat annually. When we leave meat off our plates, we aren't just sparing farmed animals from suffering. We're also helping to save this guy, this gal, and these folks too.